From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Hello everyone, meteorologist Mike Kruger here. Thank you so much for joining us here on Weather NorCal in this evening edition. Now I'm going to show you the rainfall totals from the last couple of days. Now what's interesting, I've been getting some reports from some of you, in especially parts of Redding, getting upwards, since this all started, getting upwards of 10 to even 12 plus inches of rain. Now that's certainly a far cry from the 5.22 we've seen at the airport for the last 2 days, really since it all started. So kind of interesting to see that this is a prime example of how you can see 12 inches of rain, but your neighbor across the street may only see 5.2 inches of rain. That's kind of how rain works, but overall it's been a lot of rain anyway you look at it, although not that much up in El Turris, not that much in Susanville. But that was to be expected. We just kind of saw that getting a bit shadowed from that overall flow. In the meantime, we're still seeing some decent rainfall along the coast too. Weaverville, 4.20. Look at Hayfork, 8.11 inches. Of course, that's what the snow melted down into water, 10.62 for Mount Shasta City. And of course, they did see mostly that rain today. 3.21 in Etna. So again, it just depends on where you are. Very impressive. Now here's the thing. For the most part, I'm not seeing a lot of rainfall here, but by tomorrow, I think we're going to be looking at a lot more rain tomorrow for this area than the rest of us. And we'll see that here when we look at Futurecast here in just a bit. Let's take a look at Kruger's Quickcast now. For those of you that just want a quick look at the forecast, let's get you to it. But first, here's what I'm tracking here for the next few days. Now we're really focusing our attention on the flood potential. Already starting to see some impacts from the rain that we've seen, and the impacts will continue to make themselves known as we go into the next 12 to 24 hours. Gusty winds potential, that's mainly for tonight and early tomorrow morning. That could lead to more power outages. And snow levels are dropping this weekend, but we're certainly not going to be looking at the same snow event that we just did. We're still looking at some snow flurries in some areas here, but certainly not what we did see. All right, here's what you expect here for tonight. Temperatures mid to upper 40s to about 50 for the valley, 30s for most of the higher elevations. I mean, it's getting chilly tonight, but definitely not that cold because of the overcast skies and the warm nature of this storm. But you can see here, as we get out the door tomorrow morning, well, that's what you got here, showers, and pretty much wet for almost everyone. Now, we take a look at the area of low pressure right here. That's what was the bomb cyclone that you've been hearing about this week. Rotating around it is another area of low pressure right here. That's what's going to be impacting us here for tomorrow. But we still have that flow of moisture heading right into Northern California today. But this is all just going to slowly shift to the south as we go into tomorrow. So again, you can see it right here. There's all the rain, and this is all going to be shifting to the south tomorrow. So let's take a look at Futurecast through tomorrow. And here we are, 6 p.m. Now, we're actually starting to see a little bit of a break here to the west, heavier rainfall off to the east. And then we see the next storm system push on through, tapping into that moisture, and we got heavy rainfall for the coast. Not a whole lot as we go into midnight tonight off to the east, but heavy rainfall and gusty winds out along the coast. Then we go into 8 o'clock in the morning. Look what's happening. Now we're seeing most of the rain off to our east. Off to the west, behind that, you've got scattered showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms. Now check this out. We're going to take you through the day on Friday. You see how it's all just focused on this area here, kind of getting their own little mini atmospheric river, if you will, because what it's doing is it's kind of some leftover moisture that's coming in and just hitting the eastern parts of the mountains here, Plumas, Lassen, and also Modoc County. But behind it, look, nothing, really. I mean, nothing when I say nothing. Scattered showers in comparison to what we're seeing here. And then we go into Friday night, we're starting to see this all shift to the east, and we will no longer, by the time we get into Saturday, no parts of Northern California will be under the influence of that atmospheric river. Finally, we're getting kind of rid of that, but still some scattered showers and thunderstorms, which we'll take a closer look at that here for the weekend too. Now the winds are something we got to pay attention to as well. Look at this out along the coast here. We're going to start off and stop it right around midnight. The gust not as strong as the first event we saw a few nights ago, but still 30, even close to 40 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit stronger in some cases here. That will push eastward. It's a cold front basically. It's pushing through. That's going to give us some gusty winds for the valley. Now what's interesting is, as I posted this earlier on Facebook, and someone had made a comment that, you know, they really haven't seen any wind since day one of all of this. See, that's the miracle of these microclimates that we have. You can get these wind-sheltered areas, but then other areas get very gusty winds. So this person that made that comment was most likely in one of those wind-sheltered areas. But you can see, for the most part, yeah, looking at those gusty winds for the valley, that then all shifts eastward. Now we're seeing the strongest winds to the east of the valley. The valley not as strong. Still gusty, still breezy, but certainly not a major wind event by the time you get into Friday afternoon. All right, so here's what we have in store for us tomorrow. There's that chance for showers and thunderstorms for the valley. Rain pretty steady off to the east here. Showers, maybe some snow flurries as those snow levels do begin to drop a little bit tomorrow afternoon, and maybe even some thunderstorms for parts of the north coast as well. Otherwise, scattered showers across the board. All right, there's what we have here looking at your 7-day outlook. Chance for showers, thunderstorms, another windy start today especially. Then off and on chances for showers, nothing major. I mean, just your typical unsettled weather pattern for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then for Wednesday and Thursday, we're drying things out, it looks like. And that's the same thing for the coast, some showers, and also into Tuesday. But everyone will be most likely drying out by the time we get to the middle of next week and into Thanksgiving. All right, that's a look at your quick cast. Now let's take a look at our deeper dive forecast. We're going to start looking at the headlines here because the focus now will turn to the potential for flooding. We're also looking at the potential for mudslides and debris flows. When we start seeing this excessive rainfall that we've seen, we're going to start to feel the impacts. And as I mentioned earlier, we're already feeling those impacts in some areas, and we'll begin to feel it even more over the next 12 to 24 hours. Now, the gusty winds with the potential for more power outages. That's, of course, I showed you those winds for tonight and early tomorrow morning. Now, the snow levels will be dropping this weekend, but certainly not the snow event that we saw yesterday by any stretch. Just some scattered snow flurries out there. And then possible drier trend as we approach Thanksgiving holiday. Looking pretty promising there. So this right here is an area of low pressure. Remember, that was the main low, and then this one's kind of coming around it. You've got a cold front right here that's associated with it. Now that cold front will be a source for rain. It'll be a source for possible thunderstorms as that colder and unstable air moves in, and the very strong winds I was talking about. But once again, here we have that atmospheric river, that narrow column of moisture that's been aimed at Northern California for the last 2 days. It hasn't really moved much. But look what happens as we go into Friday. You see how it's shifting to the south? But remember, we saw this little column that was going right up here on the east side. You can kind of see that in this available moisture here, the yellows. That's where we're seeing that for Plumas County, Lassen, and Modoc County. But again, on the west side of that, it's not, that flow is not right over the west of that. So then as we go into your Saturday, no longer an issue, no longer our problem here. That atmospheric river is pointed at the Southern California region, but it's going to be very weak. You can kind of see here, it actually kind of weakens by the time it gets on shore here. But overall, it's pretty much over at that point, at least for us here in Northern California. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast. So as we go into tonight, you see what's happening? We're seeing kind of retrograde back. That's mainly that system kind of moving in closer. But we're seeing some drier conditions down to the south, heavier rainfall to the north, even for the coast. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., that all pushes eastward. Heavy rainfall coming in late tonight, early tomorrow morning for the valley, and then heavier rainfall off to the east by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Snow level is still very high, by the way, 7,000 to 8,000 feet. Then you can see as we go into your Friday, there you can see there's that rain. Again, we showed you that rain here that's mainly going to be off to the east and scattered showers and thunderstorms for everyone else. Here's Friday. Notice the snow levels are beginning to drop, but this is all moving out Friday night. And then you can see Saturday morning, scattered showers, maybe even some thunderstorms, and the valley could be included in that. You see how we're seeing more snow on the map here? Now we've got snow levels back down to 3,000, 4,000 feet. Mount Shasta City, yeah, maybe some more snow for you. Could we see more snow on I-5? Maybe, right? But again, it's not going to be, snow, steady snow all day long. It's going to be those kind of, you see how it's kind of isolated, see how it kind of breaks apart. So as we go into Saturday, 5 p.m., maybe some snow off to the east. We're dry in the valley. More showers approaching from the west. So it looks like for the most part, we're dry for Sunday morning, but then this right here, this disturbance will be moving eastward through the day on Sunday, giving us a chance for more showers throughout the day on Sunday. So here's your forecast rainfall totals. You notice these numbers are getting smaller and smaller. That's because most of it is behind us, with the exception, of course, what we're seeing here for tomorrow off to the east. So on top of what we've already seen, we are going to see an added, say, 1 to 2.5 inches of rain for parts of the valley, and about 1.5 to close to 2 inches along the coast. All right, so it's some decent rain. But again, we're talking about that potential for flooding, right? For tomorrow, you can see marginal, slight, and moderate. So mainly here, we're seeing some this is really where we're seeing a lot of the orographic lifting, where we're just seeing a ton of rain in this area. But keep in mind that that's all going to run off, make its way down into the lower areas, such as the valley. Creeks and streams are going to rise, the river, a lot of low-lying areas, a lot of flood-prone areas, could see some problems there as well. So that's what's coming out of that. Now, I'm going to show you this map here. And there's a lot going on here. First, the base right here. This is the flood watch that we've had and I've been telling you about for the last several days. Now, as we start to feel the impacts of the rain that we've seen, and we'll continue to feel the impacts, you can see all these squares of all these different colors, either a flood warning or a flood advisory. These have been changing all day long. I've been getting alerts all day. I have these alerts. They go on my phone. And my watch has been buzzing all day long with new advisories, new warnings for flooding, okay? Because we're beginning to feel that. In fact, I just have one right now. In fact, it just came on. It said extended flood advisory, all right? So again, it just keeps going and going. So essentially, here's what's going on. Through Saturday morning, we've got that potential for flooding. And really, the biggest concerns will be the rises in the creeks and streams and the rivers, and potential for mudslides and debris flows. That's something I was talking about. So take a look at this. Here you can see this stage right here. And what I'm going to do here is I can actually go interactive with this, and I can show you what we're looking at here. This is the current river levels. So the current river level just southeast of Redding is the Cow Creek. Now, there's some funky data coming in, but it is going to crest at 18.5 feet tonight at 11 p.m., which would probably put it, well, it'll put it probably in the moderate stage here because that's minor. No, it'll keep it in that minor stage, excuse me. It'll keep it in that minor stage here. So that's what we're looking at here for tonight. And then it will drop after that. You'll notice north of Eureka, we've got Mad River near Arcata. That is going to crest tomorrow morning at 22.9 feet. And then in the one to the south here, this one is Eel River at Fern Bridge. That will also crest at 25.4 feet. That's in the major category, but just barely. The major category is 25 feet, so it's barely going to be over that. So just kind of wanted to point that out. Now I want to show you again, as we can kind of see a little bit better representation and visual representation. So we look at Mad River again. This is on the coast around near Arcata. So you can see right here, it's going to crest at 22.9 feet at about 10 a.m. So that's when it's going to crest, just in the minor phase. It's not major, right? And then it just drops after that. That's typical because once the rain stops, it's crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but you have all this heavy rainfall. And then suddenly, after the rain stops, creeks and streams rise. It's that delayed effect. It takes time for that water to fill things up, to run off the, off the drainages, all of that, right? Here's Eel River at Fern Bridge. You can kind of see it cresting here. So you see how it kind of gets into that major phase here, and it'll be at Friday at 2 p.m. when it will crest at 25.4 feet, and then it will start to drop after that. All right, we take a look at Van Duzen River near Bridgeville, and this is Friday at 7 a.m., so tomorrow morning, that's when it will crest just barely at that minor flood stage. Then we take you to the Susan River in Susanville. Now we're in Laston County, and you can kind of see it goes up, then it kind of levels off, then it kind of goes back up again. So Friday at 9 p.m., it'll crest at 10.8, actually, yeah, 11.8, excuse me, 11.8 feet. That will put it just barely below the minor flood stage. And then it, of course, goes down after that. All right, so the Sacramento River, well, here you can see here, this is at Tehama Bridge. It's going to go into that minor category, 210.7 feet. That's just about a foot over the flood stage. So it'll be a minor flooding, and then, of course, it will drop after that. That'll be 2 p.m. tomorrow. The forecast stage for at Ord Ferry at Sacramento River, there you can see 113.6 feet. That'll be 8 a.m. on Saturday morning when it will crest, and then it will drop. So again, you can see it just depends on these different locations of where these are. All right, let's switch gears now. We're going to talk about the snow. So there is a winter storm warning until 10 o'clock tonight above 5,000 feet in northern Trinity County. For Laston and Plumas County right here, until 10 p.m. Saturday, above 7,000 feet. And this right here for the foothills is for Friday, tomorrow afternoon through Tuesday afternoon, above 5,500 feet. So again, what's happening is this. We've got the snow levels really starting to lower, especially as we go into the weekend, and that could create some more travel concerns. All right, so take a look at the forecast snow totals. This is through tomorrow, 6 p.m. We're not seeing much. You have to go up pretty high in elevation in order to really see anything. So you can see the lower elevations, nothing being picked up as far as any accumulation because the snow levels are still too high. But then as we go into Saturday, Sunday, all right, now we're starting to see that potential for more accumulating snow for some of those lower elevations, maybe as low as 3,000 feet. Bernie, yeah, you may see some more snowflakes, but it's going to be mainly above that. All right, take a look at the forecast snow totals out towards the ski park. We're going to take you all the way through Sunday morning. We could pick up an additional 4 to maybe 6 inches of snow there. Not a ton. I mean, so you get the idea. The system that's coming in that's going to bring us scattered snow flurries over the weekend, it's not going to do much. We still have those chain requirements as of 5:23 p.m., mainly on Highway 89. This looks like it's on I-5. It's not. This is on Highway 89, and it's just pretty much that whole stretch there. Elsewhere, still closed at Scott Mountain, but no other chain requirements elsewhere. So conditions have really improved. So once again, you can see that next system coming in tomorrow. See this, again, Friday. Here's the atmospheric river right here. It's pointed at the Bay Area, and then it kind of just comes up right here. That's what we're seeing here for tomorrow. Behind that, not as wet, but still scattered showers and thunderstorms. There's Saturday. There's a look at Sunday. Still some more scattered showers and thunderstorms again. Monday, Tuesday, still a chance for showers, and then check this out. Let's go into Wednesday. Let's go into Thanksgiving Day. We'll take you into Friday. And we've got a swirling area of low pressure down to our south, but as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to impact us a whole lot. That high pressure right here is going to be the dominant feature and keep us under clear skies and dry conditions for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So the forecast rain totals on top of what we'll see here through Sunday morning. Yeah, I mean, I think it might be overdoing it in some cases here, but you get the picture. We're seeing these numbers get smaller and smaller. So to kind of help illustrate what we've got going on for next week, the Climate Prediction Center is putting us in the drier than normal category through next week. Now let's talk about the winds. Yes, we've got one more thing to talk about. So there is a high wind warning for Del Norte, Humboldt counties for this afternoon through 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Gusts 50, even 60 miles per hour. High wind warning until tomorrow morning for the areas up here to the north. You can also see in the valley a wind advisory from 7 p.m. today until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at those winds. There you can see the cold front coming through noon, it looks, excuse me, midnight. Strongest winds will be along the coast, north and west of the valley, and even some pretty strong winds in the foothills. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., They're the strong winds here for especially the east side of the valley. But look at the winds, still pretty strong on the coast, but they are starting to die down. You can see the overall trend is that the winds will start to kind of push off to the east, and we're looking at weaker winds after that. Now by Saturday, you're not even really seeing any yellows or reds in there, indicating much, much calmer winds. Although Crescent City is still at 27 miles an hour, so still quite gusty there, even for your Saturday afternoon. All right, let's take a look at your wave heights, and there you can see we take you through Friday. Not much change. They actually lower a little bit here. Now, as we look at our marine forecast, before we get to that, let's take a look at Saturday. Saturday, too, also showing signs of, look at that, it's getting weaker. Now your marine forecast. So you can see those south winds at 20 to 25 knots. There's a gale warning for tonight that will be allowed to expire late tonight and early tomorrow morning. And then, of course, you can see tonight, temperatures mid to upper 40s, around 50 for the valley, 30s for most of the higher elevations, and we've got those upper 40s to about 50 along the coast here for tonight. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. So what you'll notice here in the 7-day forecast for everybody, snow levels are going to lower a little bit and generally just kind of average out around 3,500 feet, at least for Weaverville, Saturday all the way through Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, it will dry out. Scattered showers for tomorrow as well. Rio Dell, 56. Could see a chance for a few isolated thunderstorms for the coast. 58 degrees out in Blue Lake. Up north, about 59 for Gas Key. There you can see Orleans about 57 and Willow Creek about 57. There's a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Snow levels averaging out once we get to the weekend, 3,500 feet. I mean, they could drop to 3,000 feet at times, maybe a little bit higher, but that's where it's going to kind of average out. And then Wednesday, Thursday, it dries out. Modoc County neighborhood forecast, 48 for Tule Lake, 50 for California Pines, 50 in Alturas, and 51 degrees in Fort Bidwell. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, well, there you can see Susanville actually will get a break on Sunday, possibly. That's what I'm seeing for now. And then kind of back on Monday, Tuesday, drying out for Wednesday, Thursday. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. There you can see temperatures are still on the cool side, only reaching somewhere in the upper 50s. Chance for thunderstorms and windy tomorrow. That'll be the case again, at least for the chance for thunderstorms on Saturday with calmer winds. And then chances for off and on showers here for Sunday through Tuesday. Let's take you up to the north. 52 degrees out towards Whiskeytown, 52 for Lakehead, and Cottonwood, a high of about 57 degrees. So there's your 7-day forecast for Redding. And yes, we've got Thanksgiving on the 7-day forecast. Can you believe it? It's almost Thanksgiving next week. But the windy and chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, isolated showers and possible thunderstorms on Saturday, and then off and on chances for showers. Just your typical cool and unsettled weather pattern. Yes, I'm back to saying that again, folks. A cool and unsettled weather pattern for basically tomorrow through Tuesday, off and on chances for showers, breaks in the clouds, more clouds at times than others, heavy rainfall at times for some, otherwise just a few scattered showers. That's a cool and unsettled weather pattern. And then Wednesday, Thursday, it dries out. But notice, it doesn't really warm up a whole lot. So yes, it's drying out, but it's still staying fairly cool for your Wednesday and Thanksgiving Day. That's your evening update. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Kruger for your Friday edition. Have a great night.